to our fifth session, which called SPIR Delegation and Contribution of Supplier. Quick recap from the last sessions. Last time we had part list for EQHub ID demo. And just to remind you that in our solution, in our new solution SPIR, EQHub SPIR, one package is one SPIR actually. And part info of EQHub ID will be used in SPIR Flow. And as you know already, that parts can be easily added to EQHub ID manually or by import. So let's start our session because I have a lot to tell you. Coordinator or owner user can see any package in their project. So the package details page is actually represents the SPIR, particular SPIR, which can be assigned to supplier company. And this is the full view of the picture of the page, but I will show you more focus right now on the section additional details and responsibilities. This is editable section which allows to assign supplier company selected from the company registered in EQHub and then assign supplier responsible user. Also here can be assigned such responsibilities as package responsible engineer and package responsible buyer. Those responsibilities also assigned on the package level. And also we have additional optional section which called SPIR details. Here we have two text fields. One is SPIR description and the second one is SPIR document reference. So you could use it for extension of your SPIR context if you need. When supplier company is assigned and the changes are saved, this package becomes available for supplier company and in particular to the user who has been assigned as supplier responsible. Supplier company and supplier responsible users are in place. There can be the user from supplier company gets the access to the projects module and specifically to the package details page to which he or she has been assigned to. And one moment, this is the view of supplier. So when supplier gets into the module, project module, there is a page with SPIRs available to that supplier, and there is a list of all packages from different projects which are available for the company, for supplier company, and the packages that assigned particularly to that user can be edited by them. It means that input can be provided by that user. So the user can navigate easily to the package details page and what information we have on that page for supplier. Additional details and responsibilities section is also available and also editable, but not in full like for coordinator or owner users. Supplier can add, assign or unassign colleagues from own company. Also can edit the SPIR description field and SPIR document reference field. But the main part of this page are two tables which called general SPIR info and equipment material data. Those are two tables. The first one shows all tags from the package grouped by EQHub ID if it's provided. Several tags can be covered with one EQHub ID, which means one equipment. And if tag number does not covered with AccuHub ID, then it can be then the AccuHub ID can be suggested by supplier on the corresponding column suggested, where supplier can see the buttons for those cases where there is no AccuHub ID. So plus AccuHub ID, this is a button which gives supplier a choice. There are two options which allow to suggest AccuHub ID. The first option is to search amongst existing AccuHub IDs of the supplier company. If AccuHub ID is already in place, you just can find it, select it, and link it. Link AccuHub ID. But still, if you don't have such AccuHub ID, you have a possibility to create AccuHub ID, but in a shortened way, not in full. So during the registration of AccuHub ID for a tag number, it is necessary only to provide manufacturer name and part number because it's the basic fields for generation of ID. And also you have to provide class and a document, specific category which called detailed cross-sectional drawing, to which a part list can be connected to. So I show here the first tab of registration process, where you select manufacturer and part number, and the second screen shows that one document only should be provided, to which you actually can provide parts information. Also, the part list can be provided for AccuHub ID even without a document reference. If you remember the last session, it's also possible to do if you, by some reason, don't have a document at all. This screen shows only that you can provide the parts on the level of, on the process of product registration or after, when you will have time for that. The AccuHub ID generated for SPIR in this way will have a label on UI, if you can see. It's called used in SPIR. So we just mark such simple AccuHub IDs that they are used in SPIR, and those IDs can be linked to different tags within the current package or other packages. So the information will be reused. The added AccuHub ID is shown on the column suggested like this. You can delete it if you did some mistake, for example, and connected wrong AccuHub ID. You can redo this operation. But for the lines with AccuHub IDs, for the lines with AccuHub IDs in the column which called AccuHub ID, the commercial information could be provided only. It means that suggested AccuHub ID should be added to this column by the update of tag index. So the coordinator or the person who will update the tag index will see this information will be available, so that after some validation processes and other activities, it can be added in this column and can be used for providing by supplier commercial information. So for the line which already have a AccuHub ID, how it will work? You just have to, in the first table, click the line. It will be highlighted in this way. And in the bottom table, you will see all connected information. One line will be about equipment itself, so the price and other attributes can be provided. And part list, which is connected to the AccuHub ID, also will be reflected here. We also have possibility, if the document to which the part list have been provided is in PDF format, we include the button which allows to open the viewer for this document, so the document is under your hand always. The principle of input by supplier is the following. If supplier has added a value.
Sorry to interrupt, but maybe
Yes.
not everybody knows that they can zoom in, and but maybe when you show this one, if you could zoom in for everybody, it's easier for them to follow along, I think.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah, better. Okay. So if supplier provided a value in this column, which called price per component, then unit of measure, delivery time in weeks, quantity commission in SPIRs, and quantity operational SPIRs must be provided. They become mandatory fields for that particular line. So it means only if you put something here, you have to provide corresponding information on the left side. In this way, we give supplier a choice to highlight only information which is proposed from supplier company side, because the part list can contain a lot of different information, which is probably can be not relevant for this particular SPIR. And also, after supplier has added this information, it will be used for calculation of supplier operational cost, which will be available here. It will be just a simple tooltip, which will show you current calculations. After the job is done by supplier decides that, okay, for this equipment, for this particular equipment, I have provided all needed information and I complete my job here. Supplier just should tick the checkbox on the top level in the line of this particular equipment, which will show that, okay, the job is completed for this particular equipment. And the date of the tick will be shown here. And from this moment when the checkbox is ticked, supplier cannot edit provided info. When supplier completes the job for one equipment or for several of them and put the ticks in the checkboxes, there is also possibility to notify the evaluator about the amount of completed work, so that the evaluation can start in parallel. For example, supplier can continue complete SPIR information for other equipments, and the evaluator can start their job on their behalf. But and by pressing this notify button, supplier user should provide the reason, which means not reason maybe, but the explanation what actually have been completed. So just to specify what has been done and notify this user, email will be sent to evaluator. The evaluator and including coordinator, of course, as well. The evaluation part will be described in the following session. So maybe you want to go back to some screens, please ask your questions. Thank you for attention.
Thank you, Ola. Any questions on anything? You want to add something, Knut? Feel free. Roy has a question here from Equinor.
Yes, Roy Falket here. A question relates to the spare parts. I couldn't see quantity installed of spare parts for an equipment.
Yeah, maybe I guess it is a part of the part list, so maybe it just hasn't been provided here. So quantity per item on each drawing you refer to. Yeah. I guess it is a field that I guess we have in the part list. So yeah, a good catch. So it need to be presented in the part section there.
Is it something that should be provided
you had
as
a material
part
quantity
of SPIR
there, isn't it?
information? Yeah.
If you please zoom in a little bit, I guess there is material quantity there.
We have two quantities here, commercial spares and 2 years operational spares. But if we have to add some other columns, it's not a problem. So it's just basic.
I think it's needed to have. I think it's needed to have quantity installed. That's important for the maintenance people.
And this information is provided by supplier side.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good catch. Thanks, Roy. Any other questions, comments? If not, we will conclude this one. And Ola, maybe you can go back to the overall schedule now for the remaining. Yes?
May I have one? You just said that columns can be added. Any sorts of columns?
No, so not what Ola is saying, in this stage we are still in development, active development. So as Roy pointed out, if there is a field here that is necessary for maintenance, we can fit that in prior to going live with the solution. So then there's the the aspect of can in the SPIR process someone define their own custom columns? Not at this stage, but of course we can look at that also in the future. But for this live version, the first one, it's defined what kind of fields is either mandatory or optional.
Okay, thank you.
Geir?
Yeah, maybe it was said already, but I didn't get it. In the table that Ola showed, there is, if you can take it back there. Supplier done, there is tick boxes there, and then you have the evaluation done, also tick boxes there. But when we do the evaluation and company decision, is there a place that we can put in the quantities? Because the quantities down there, those are the supplier's quantities, I guess, the recommendations.
Yes, it will be described in the following session. They will have their own sections where they provide their information. Of course, this is only supplier's input.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Ola?
Yes, just to follow up with Geir's question, it's also important because on the SPIR list today we are setting min-max and the stock level. And storage location, if it's onshore or offshore, will that be possible here?
Yeah, it will be.
Okay.
Thanks, Ola. If Ola now can go to the overall schedule, because there's only 2 planned sessions left now, actually, before we go into the user testing. So if you can open slide 2, Ola. So we are here now, right? So now Ola has shown us the first part of the SPIR flow, which is the supplier delegation, assigning, choosing, picking a supplier to contribute their input. And the next session we have on the 26th, we will show the steps related to evaluating, deciding, and concluding based on this input process and your own input processes as well. And then we finalize this whole show and tell schedule with a full demo mid-March. And that's the last thing we do before we start testing. So almost there now.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for tuning in, for your questions. Please make sure you share this with your colleagues. As I said before, it's being recorded. This session will be made available, so for you to review. So there's a reason for this. But thanks again, all of you, especially you, Ola, for your presentation.
Thank you for attention.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.